What's up guys, Tyler Wehrung here, and today we're going to talk more about HELOCs, the home equity line of credit. We've been talking about these a lot lately, and I've been getting a ton of questions about which HELOCs do I recommend, which HELOCs am I using. So I wanted to just shoot a quick video here instead of trying to reply individually. I'll just walk you through kind of exactly what I'm doing, the three HELOCs that I'm currently using that I have actually open right now for a little over $160,000 that kind of help keep things floating with my real estate business. So I'm going to share my screen and just show you the accounts I'm using. We'll talk a little bit about each one, kind of what to look for when you are going out to look for a HELOC, and then we'll go from there. But again, I'll give you a couple places to check out, but I just wanted to be fully transparent and show you exactly who I'm using. So let's see if I can flip the screen over here. All right, so my first HELOC is with Huntington Bank. I opened this up a couple years back. Yeah, it doesn't have the date on here, but basically Huntington was offering a program where they were doing HELOCs for 100% of LTV. So what that means is whatever your house is worth minus what you owe, they would kind of give you the difference there. Most of the time it's 80% LTV or somewhere close to there. So I went with Huntington for that reason. I just looked recently, and I don't think they're still running this. However, just wanted to comment on, they are super easy to work with. I've been pretty happy with it. You can see I got a $52,000 line of credit here. I'm actually using just about all of that with the current flip I have running now. A quick show here. So my interest rate's just about almost 7%, and again that just adjusts pretty frequently. So I'm paying roughly, I think I got a special promotion here on some checks, paying anywhere between $40 to $85 a month to utilize $52,000. And so yeah, Huntington's a pretty good one. I have no complaints with them there. So that's what I'm using with the HELOC on my personal residence. The next HELOC that I opened up was with US Bank. Now this one is called the Cash Flow Manager. You should Google this program and see if it's available in your area. Now you do have to have an LLC with at least 2 years of business under your name for this specific cash flow manager account. But this one's for $49,000. They do anything under $50,000 with zero underwriting. This means it was all just a conversation I had with the loan officer. He was able to put everything through the system and give me $49,000 or access to $49,000 that next day with no paperwork really involved except for me signing on the note. Usually you'll go through some underwriting, some credit checks and things like that. So I was able to get, let me not show account number. I'm trying to find interest rate on this one. To be honest, I really don't even care about interest rate. Like I said in some of my other videos, I use these for very short-term durations. So something like a flip, that's a couple months. You want to lock a house up and pay cash for it and then refinance it back out. So even if they're charging me 15–20%, that's really not a lot at the end of the day for the opportunity to be able to use this cash. So this is $49,000 here. A couple things you do want to look into when you're opening up a HELOC. The big thing that I want to know is what's the annual fee for the privilege of keeping this account open. I think this one is either $50 to $100, which is very reasonable in my opinion. Huntington is the same. I think Huntington is actually $60. I just paid that recently, so I know that one. So you want to ask them what's the annual fee to keep the account open. Anywhere from $0 to a couple $100 is okay in my opinion. Again, you can just I can write a $49,000 check to someone, so for that privilege to do that, I'm totally fine paying a couple $100. The second thing you want to ask is who's going to pay for the closing costs associated with opening this account. They will typically do an appraisal on the property that you're getting the line of credit against. So that's part of it. They're going to do some underwriting, and then the closing costs and all the paperwork that goes into the underwriting and closing of the loan. I will tell you that I've personally never paid for closing costs on any HELOC there's typically always a program out there where they're waiving closing costs. That's not to say I wouldn't do that, because I think these are so valuable to have. I would likely pay closing costs just to have the opportunity to have access to such funds. So those are the two big ones for me. You also can get into prepayment penalties. You probably just at least want to understand what your options are there. But I'm going to show you this next one with who I've also had a great experience with, and this is PenFed Credit Union. And this one, I can't really get any of the account details to show, but this one is for $61,000. So a total of just over $160,000 between the three different companies here. And PenFed, for any of you out there that have a rental property that you want to get a line of credit against, this is a great opportunity. There are very few banks that will work with that will put a HELOC on a rental property because it is a higher risk. So I think I got 80%, 75 or 80% LTV on a rental property, which I was stoked about. The only thing is you can't have 3 or more properties. So 3 or more, they red flag that and kick it out. But here's something that interesting there. So I got a call from the lady at PenFed, and she said, "I'm sorry, we can't do this because you actually have more than 3 properties, and so that goes against our guideline." But the cool thing was, and this is why I always encourage you to ask questions of why or how, like what options do we have? Is there anything we can do to kind of navigate this? And what we found was, since most of my properties are owned in an LLC or multiple LLCs, I did actually keep this one in my personal name, just because it's one that I have out of state and I've had it for so long, and it's kind of, I consider it in its own little area. This was only actually the second property that I held in my personal name. So we were able to push off all the LLC properties and still enabled me to open this line of credit for $61,000 just from asking the question of what options are out there and kind of what is the kind of the guiding principle behind this stipulation on 3 loans. So just always ask questions. They could have just as easily told me no, but I always just like to say to ask the question how. So highly recommend PenFed. Another thing you guys can do if if you check out these 3 options, and also on US Bank, just because I'm using the cash flow, I've heard great things about the personal HELOC with US Bank, so check that out as well. But a couple sources that I recommend. You just Google best HELOCs. A lot of these, any of these that have ads on them, I just ignore. Let's see, Bankrate is a good one. Very trustworthy source there. NerdWallet is another good one. Anything with news in it, I just throw to the can. Time Magazine, don't really care about. So these are the top 2 that I look at. So Bankrate and NerdWallet, they put out a lot of good content, a very non-biased, and while they do get paid for some of the advertising and things they do, they still are pretty good. So this one here, I think I clicked on one that's more just about rates. So you could always throw in your personal situation here, but let's look at NerdWallet. Best HELOC lenders. Here we go, US Bank and PenFed. So 2 of the 3 that I have, I don't think Huntington is on here. 2 of the 3 that I've opened up with are in the top 2. So again, this says that PenFed will do a 90% max LTV and that US Bank will do 80. These are, this is a little bit better than normal, but 80 is pretty standard. Again, you can go in here and read reviews on how they came up with these ratings and things like that, but these are great resources. So if you want to kind of go out here and do your own due diligence, your own research to find out, maybe your specific situation might be better suited for a particular lender. If you also have a lender that you work with, for your personal accounts or a local lender down the street, this is a great opportunity to build relationships with them and see what kind of products are out there. I would be more than happy to pay a little bit more to have that local connection, somebody you can call or go step into their office and chat with. That's worth more than the money itself, to kind of build that relationship for down the road when you need something else and you can have somebody to directly reach out to. So these are my 2 cents on what to look for in a HELOC lender. But if you guys have any other questions around this, drop them in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them there. But with that, we'll catch you guys next time.